Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Kakashi. Get you back again with another Conquer the World video. And today, we're going to be talking specifically about the Air Force. So, the Air Force is by far the most unintuitive system in the entire game. I think that the Air Force is probably never going to be used by you or anybody else that you see. You should most likely never have to worry about it unless you are a pro yourself. But for those who just want to know how it works, or for those who want to develop a strategy that uses the Air Force to its max potential, this video is for you. There's a lot we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering airfields, how to use planes, how to even defend against them. So we're going to get right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the kinds of planes that you can get and how to get them. So obviously we're going to be going to the research tree. I've already researched every single plane and their upgrade. So we have the fighters, the casses, and the bombers. And as I just showed you, we have the second versions of them all. And these are essentially like every other unit in the game. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. Just so you know, every single one of these troops, the units, are going to be weak to anti-air. And this little guy right here, the fighter. So this is the first plane we're going to be talking about, the fighter jet or the fighter plane. Can only attack other planes. This unit is only good for defending land and or going into other enemy airspaces and destroying planes if they have them deployed. In all honesty, it's not the most useful plane in the game. If you're being attacked by other planes, you can just use anti-air. Again, we'll talk about this much later in the video, but anti-air is probably going to be your best bet at defense against planes. If you need a little bit more of an edge, though, you can use fighters, and obviously you can use the fighter too to also defend yourself against other planes. The second plane we're going to be talking about is the CAS. So the CAS plane, the CAS 1 and 2, are the ones you probably think you need the most. We'll talk about why you probably shouldn't be thinking that, but the CAS can only attack troops on the ground in navies. Caveat is that it can only attack other units in the same airspace that are in combat with a friendly unit of your own. So for instance, let's say that we're over here and we have this front in Italy. The CAS is only going to attack these three units right here once it sees that our friendly units are in combat with them. They're good at doing what they do, but they're only really useful if you absolutely need an edge. You don't really want to invest a ton into planes that aren't really going to do too much if it's early game, and you could really just invest into upgrading your infantry, your anti-tank, or your tanks, and plowing down Italy or whatever enemy you have. But if it's like endgame or you're going against a pro, you both are pretty equal when it comes to the level of units and the skill level of using your units, and you need some kind of edge, the CAS is going to be for you. And the very last plane we have to talk about here is the Bomber. Now, you already know a little bit about the Bomber 2, which is the only plane in the entire game that can drop nukes. But the Bomber's main purpose is to destroy, as you can see there, factories and city defenses. The Bomber, for the most part, is the best plane to use because of how sneaky and destructive it is. And when I say destructive, I mean you could literally cripple an entire economy with just a few bombers. With all that being said, we're going to now talk about the airfields. So airfields, as you could probably already tell, are not like ports and are not like cities, where you can spawn army units and ground troop units in cities, and you can spawn immediately from ports your specific naval troop. The Air Force is a little bit different. We're going to go down and click the Air Force button to get this screen here, and you can see every single one of your airfields in the cities that have one. We have an airfield as France in Lyon, Paris, and Marseille. And the way I want you to think about airfields is like a giant warehouse that stores the planes that are made through factories. We're going to have a look here now at factories because these are the only way for you to make planes. Once you research whatever plane you want, so for instance, I don't think we're making any planes right now. Oh yeah, we're making Bomber 2s. Once you research, for instance, Bomber 2, you can invest a certain amount of factories to make this specific kind of plane. You have to do this for each and every single plane, so we're going to invest a few more factories into the Bomber 1. I'm not going to make any Bomber 1s because they're weak and also a waste of factories. But as you can see here, we are currently producing Bomber 2s and CAS 2s. If you wanted to, you could also produce your fighters, but again, you don't really need fighters if you're not at war, and you don't need to defend yourself against other planes. Like I mentioned before, Think about airfields as giant warehouses that can store your planes once they're made. Depending on the airfield that you give priority to, is going to be the airfield that your planes are brought to. You can upgrade your airfields like I've done here. I've upgraded this airfield to the max. It can hold up to a maximum of 550 planes at a time. You can deploy your planes to decrease the amount of planes you have, or what we're going to talk about next is how to deploy and or move your planes from airfield to airfield. Let's say, for instance, you want to move a ton of bombers from Lyon to Marseille. All you need to do is move this little tab. We'll move about 29 bombers, why not, to Marseille, and click this little blue button right here. That's how you simply put move planes. And let's say you want to deploy planes now. Let's go to war with Italy here. We're going to declare war on Italy. I have upgraded none of my infantry units, so we're going to try and defend ourselves there. But we're going to take our units from Lyon, and we're going to deploy about 410 CAS 2 planes to this airfield right here, airspace right here, as this is the airspace that we want to protect. Just click the deploy button, and this area is protected by our planes. I don't know what's happening down here. I do not like what's happening down there. We are going to defend. Oh, actually, if it's probably the planes that are helping us out here. So, like I said before, and you can see an example, our planes, as we deploy them in the same airspace that are being attacked, we're going to attack this here. Sorry, I have to actually kind of focus up here now. Put that unit right there. They are helping us take on the enemies of Italy. You'll notice that if we go to the airspace field, view the map, click and view the selected planes that we've sent here, our planes are slowly going down. I'll talk about a little bit more about air defense in the game, but essentially every single city in the game has a level of air defense. So no matter what airspace you send your planes to, if it is in an enemy airspace, it will always, no matter what, take damage. You don't have to research anything for a city to have any air defense. Going to continue to move troops here, and as we continue to make CAS planes, I will be resupplying this airspace right here with more CASs. Let's continue to move here and keep slowly pushing our way into Italy. It's important to note here that I have not upgraded any of my units whatsoever. The planes, the CAS planes, are the thing that are making this war doable for me. As we get more CAS planes, I'll be moving more CAS planes and deploying them into this airspace. And I think now is a good time to talk about our bombers. So bombers are really, really good, really sneaky. You can see this is the bomber 2, so I can drop nukes if I want to. I've already talked about that. When you deploy your bombers to an enemy airspace, you won't be able to see it because it looks like it's part of the CAS planes there, but they are there. I will show you. If we view the map, click the airspace and click, you can see our bombers are there. Our bombers will slowly, over time, as you can see, take factories out and lower defenses if needed. Actually, I think we very quickly destroyed every single factory in Milan and Venice. I don't think Bologna is part of the airspace, but you can see that we've destroyed every single factory in both of these cities, and their defenses are at level 1. Their defenses, I think, were at level 1 beforehand, but bombers will also take down city defenses. It will only take it down to level 1. You can never completely destroy a city's defense. However, the lower a city's defense, the less anti-air attack it has. Keep note of that if you're going on a bomber barrage. Slowly but surely, we are taking over Italy. Again, none of these units are upgraded. I think we're going to start moving this unit in now, and we're going to deploy more CAS planes down into Bologna. Clockwork, we're moving our way deeper into Italian territory. As you can see, our bombers have taken out every single factory and whittled every city defense down to 1. Pretty broken, but again, really kind of a hard investment to make there. And just like that, Italy is ours. So that's a little example of how to do an attack with planes there. Like I said before I got sidetracked and decided to completely take Italy there, the next thing I wanted to talk about was plane defense. I just showed you there a little bit of the plane combat, how the plane combat system works. But to defend against planes, all cities, like I had mentioned, have a level of anti-air defense. If you want to increase the damage that your anti-air defense does, you can go to your research tree and click these to gain better air defense in your cities. In my personal opinion, anti-air defense is probably much, much better than getting the fighter planes to defend yourself against airplanes. It's just way easier, way simpler. You don't have to look after too many planes, too many other planes. And on top of that, all you really have to do is click these buttons, and the anti-air defense will do the rest of the work for you. Other than that, there really is not much else to talk about. I think I mentioned this in the Navy video, but naval units, every single naval unit has a level of anti-air attack. If you want to increase the damage that does as well, you have to also just research. This research right here will increase all anti-air attack, not just city anti-air attack. So just keep that in mind. And again, that is pretty much it for the Air Force. There really is not much else to talk about. It is complex, it is unintuitive, but I have to admit, it is pretty fun to use. I love looking after the planes that I'm creating with my factories and slowly choosing and deciding how many planes I want to send to a specific area, what I want to deploy, what airspace I want them to take hold of. There really isn't much else to talk about there. They're good to use, but I do recommend not using them if it's the early game. Don't really invest into them. If you do, I promise you, somebody else is going to just steamroll you with better ground units. While you're over here investing in better planes and trying to build them, somebody is already on Tank 3. It's more of an end game or I absolutely need an edge thing inside of a battle. With that being said, though, that's all I got for you. There's not much else to talk about the Air Force there. Do with this information what you will. I hope you all enjoyed. If I missed anything about the Air Force, please do let me know. I will gladly take criticism, so if I missed or got anything wrong in the video, again, you can let me know down below, and I'll see you all in the next tutorial.